Systems work, people fail. Welcome to InsureMark's Advisor Mentorship Podcast with Vice President Jeremy Hauser.
Steve Jobs once said, "Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people." Welcome to this week's episode of the Advisor Mentorship Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Hauser, and today we have a special guest on. He's actually been on the show a while ago, which we'll probably outline here in a little bit, but we are joined today by Michael Ginsberg, JD CFP out of California. How are we doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us back. It's been quite some time, I think back early 2022. So we're about 30 months removed from the first time you were on this episode. For those keeping track, it was episode 11. So some things have definitely changed, which I want to dive into that in a second. But hold on. Before I get there, over the weekend, you shot me something which I'm actually excited about. So you're doing something pretty cool for your team at y'all's firm for the month of October. Tell us a little bit about that for the month of October for your staff.
Sure. Well, inspired by one of your podcasts about you doing 100 miles in, what was it, August?
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, if you could do that, moving, giving birth, and having us all come into Houston.
I didn't give birth, but yes.
Well, your wife did all the hard work and the moving and all the rest. I figured, well, I always joke with my staff. Kelly wanted to move the printer around so she didn't have to get out of her chair. So I joke with her that I'm never going to do that because that's part of our corporate wellness program for her to have to get out of her seat because they say sitting is the new smoking. So want to keep people moving. And so I thought, I figured I was personally going to do 50 miles in October. And I thought, well, I need to make up for a bunch of workshops I'm going to at the end of the month. So I need to add a few extra days of walking. So I thought I'm just going to get everybody in the office going. So I came up with an incentive program that if they walk, there's 5 weeks, so 15 days, 20 minutes out, 20 minutes back. So 40 minutes for 15 times. They have to app it, $50 bonus, and November 1st will only work a half a day.
I love it. No,
yeah.
I love it. When I got the text, I was like, man, that is so awesome. And I think it's fun too, because it, like I told you originally, because you're shooting me the message about you doing the 50 miles. It really is. It's all about the beginning. So It just starts to creep up as you get closer to that threshold. So
yep, absolutely.
You and Phyllis might have 20 miles, in 3 days. So
yeah, we're slightly overachievers generally.
So brings us to today's conversation. So very cool about your office and something that's new. Obviously, on our previous episode, you didn't have staff. So what's changed since the last 2 years in your world? And where are you today with your business?
Yeah, I was surprised. I went back and listened to that episode, and I thought, man, a lot has changed in a handful of months. And I was in my usual, cocky arrogance about being a solo business owner. And everyone, as I was getting to know you guys at InsureMark and getting to meet some of the top producers, and everyone I've met at InsureMark has been so giving and wonderful people. And all of them, from kind of some of the people who are more direct and in your face to more gentle and kind people and a little more diplomatic, all basically told me the same thing. I was a fool, and that I was not just cheating myself, but really cheating my clients of better experience and more opportunity to work with Michael by thinking I could do it all myself. And it was because I had such a horrible experience hiring people. I mean, I truly did not. I had such horrible experiences with it. There was no way I wanted to engage in it anymore. And so I actually set up my practice to be so efficient. I mean, obscenely efficient. I was generating more revenue myself at a higher gross profit margin than some of these other people that were, had a bunch of staff. And I'm thinking, why do I need all the headaches if I could be this efficient? Well, as the months and months went on, and I started realizing I'm not having much fun here. And this is getting really tiring, working, 50, 60 plus hours and not having weekends off. I'm thinking, I'm not having much fun. And then, I'm sure we'll get into it, but InsureMark, with all the great business support that you guys provide, offered that amazing business coach who has worked with some of the top financial advisors in our industry. Her advice was amazing, and I really took it to heart and really ran with it. So I'm sure we'll get into some more, but yeah, it just really opened my eyes, and I'm loving my business now. So it's now a lot more fun and just as profitable. And so it's been really nice.
And so for the audience who maybe has not listened to that episode, which highly recommend, because you'll see the changing of the evolution really of your business. So back then, one advisor, didn't have anybody currently on staff. Where do you sit today as we're recording?
As we're sitting recording today, my AUM has grown by probably over $20 million. And so almost doubled, and growing in terms of annuity production. Last year was around 2 million. I'm already approaching 8 million this year. AUM's grown anywhere from 2 to 4 million a month. So yeah, it's been an amazing ride. But more importantly, the clients' relationships are getting stronger. And previously, I actually hired consultants to help me while I wasn't getting referrals from clients. I mean, I was doing everything everyone said to do. Clients stayed with me forever. They were thrilled. They were happy. But I was never getting any referrals. And I hired a couple of consultants. They said, "Oh, you must be doing something wrong." I had them interview clients. Clients were thrilled. And both consultants over the years said they couldn't figure it out. And as soon as I hired Kelly, I mean, within that month, referrals started pouring in. She's been now with me over a year and a half. Mm-hmm. We haven't even had a chance to start executing on new marketing. This is just referrals and existing business. All of this growth that has occurred simply by focusing on my business and doing it the right way, which you guys have been telling me to do for a while. And it's been a fabulous ride. It's been great. I'm loving the business. I leave early. I mean, I'm always the last one. Now there's some days I'm the first one, out of the office early. Now I hope they're working their full days. I have no idea, but I have to hope they are. But I'm loving my business. Clients are happier. I have better, even stronger relationships with them. More business is coming, attracting it. And then in November, we finally have gotten to the point where now we can start executing fresh marketing, and we're going to start doing live events again.
Which is exciting. And so you went from one advisor to now hiring Kelly. I believe you have some other.
Yeah, I have 2 other staff people. Yeah, so what happened was with the coach that you guys had, there was an activity, the above and below the line activity, which I really treated as gospel. It made so much sense to me to just focus on my highest and best use and the things that I love doing. And so when I did that activity, I was real honest with myself. I was super candid and brutally honest. And I did the activity, put it all out there. And I knew I knew I couldn't dump all these activities. There was no one to give them to. It was just me. I was everybody. And so I knew I had to systematically follow a process, get the systems in place, get the organization in place, and get the right people to help me, because I could not hire people. I knew that was not my skill. You have a couple of $1 million you need help managing, want to plan your retirement, I'm your man. Hiring somebody, that was not my skill set. No idea what I was doing wrong or anything. And just like you have to hire the right coaches, I hired the right coach for this hiring to expand and bring on people. And as I was going through that above the and below line activity, when I did it for myself and hired Kelly, ultimately, about 9 months in, I knew that Kelly was getting overworked. And I knew I had to force her to do the same thing. I had to get her to sit down and start doing the above and below the line activity. And you've had the chance to meet Kelly. She's a little headstrong sometimes. And so I basically had to do it for her initially and get her input. But she finally acknowledged that, yeah, we need to fix this. And so we sat down. So I hired the consultant again. I brought Stephanie back in after she did such a great job with me being able to find Kelly. I brought her in. And as we were doing the work, the three of us, as we were talking through what the next hire was going to look like, and the job description and the hard and soft skills necessary, we discovered we actually really should be hiring two people. And so this was a major leap on my, leap of faith on my part to take on double the expense. I expected to hire one more person. I just bit the bullet and just went for it and had the faith that this process will work, and hired ahead of the time as opposed to after the fact when we're all buried and running around like crazy. I decided to let's just not run this place like our hair is on fire anymore. Let's just run it the right way. And so I decided to just go for it, run this business like a business, and hire proactively. And so now we have Danielle and Alicia, two amazing people. Mm-hmm. And when you hire the right people, they get me. They get my business vision. They get what my clients want. And they are just as passionate about what I deliver to clients as I am. And it's been an amazing experience when you hire right. And that's what I needed help with. And Stephanie did an amazing job of really getting me focused on what the core hard and soft skills are, articulating them, and having a clear process of putting together a resume a job description, and how to promote for that job. And more importantly, how to hire the right people and how to interview the right people. And it was a quick, easy process. When you do it right, it works.
I think one of the things that stands out, because I definitely might want to have you unpack a little bit more about that process of Stephanie, who helped you engage and find the right Kelly and find other people. But let's talk a little bit about mindset, because like you said, I mean, you're taking the risk here. You went from having Kelly to now hiring additionally two people, doubling your expenses with just rolling the dice. So what is that experience, and why now instead of 5-6 years ago? Why now is a good time for you to do this?
Well, you know what? Had I done it 5-6 years ago, I wasn't ready. I had to mature. I had to figure this out. As you've gotten to know me, I'm sometimes a hard-headed person. I have to sometimes figure things out my own way, and no matter how often people tell me. Now that I'm ready and I saw this, I thought, man, that's why I said I was a fool. I mean, I was arrogant about the idea that only I could run my business and that no one else could deliver the same quality of service to my clients as a properly vetted and trained staff. Mm-hmm. And so basically I had to learn how to become a business owner and start having a different mindset and not just be just a runner and a producer. I had to become a business owner as well. So now I'm actually able, like the other day, I was actually able just to sit for a couple of hours and start planning out what the next phase of the marketing is going to be, how I'm laying out these 2 live events I'm doing, how I'm going to convert that live seminar into a 10-minute webinar that will now be an evergreen webinar that I could keep running. Mm-hmm. So basically, I now have the time and the brain capacity and the bandwidth to actually focus on my business, as opposed to just being, because of some deadline, forced to work on my business. I could really do it proactively. So I really feel like now I'm able to run a business and be a producer. And it's also given me the bandwidth to actually start envisioning what it would be like to have a junior advisor as well as the next hire. Because I didn't think that I would ever bring on a junior advisor, but now I'm fully comfortable with that process developing. and developing those skills as an operator to bring on. So, yeah, so I think it had to do with more changing my mindset from being a producer and a hunter as opposed being more strategic and being a business operator.
Mm-hmm. So being the business owner too, and what you laid out, which is really spot on, is you have a process now. So bringing somebody to the firm that's new, and because you can't be the one always interviewing somebody. I'm sure that was something that held you back in the previous years where you had to actually interview somebody. And then if they don't work out, then all that time and sweat equity has gone into that. So talk a little bit about how hiring an additional consultant to help you bridge the gap to find the right people to bring on board.
Yep. So what I learned from that above and below the line activity is it gave me clarity. I was really super clear in what I wanted to get off my plate. And so the clearer I was, the clearer the consultant Stephanie was able to help me put into words the characteristics of the person I was looking for. And so even my first hire with Kelly, wanted an operations manager. I wanted a business partner. I wanted someone to really just be involved in the business as an equal and to understand my passion and to understand what I was looking to accomplish. And when I first got Kelly's resume, I was speechless. I mean, I called my wife, said, this woman just applied. I can't see, number one, why she would take a job with a one-man operation when she had, managed 25 people previously. And I knew the company she was at because I worked with his competitor for a while. So I knew this guy. I didn't know Kelly personally, but I knew of their operations. And I just figured she would never accept a job. And if she did, how much would it cost me? And finally, Stephanie, as a consultant, said, you got to open your mind a little bit. And there was one of the other top producers when we were at the family reunion in Cabo told me, he said, Michael, if this person costs you $60,000 a year, how much do you make on $1 million of annuities? Mm-hmm. Duh. I mean, how hard is it to close $1 million of an annuity, right? So there's that person. Now, if that person with just a little bit of annuity production could cover their salary, now Kelly was more than that, but so, we got $2 million. But the thing is, she's covered, and it's peace of mind. And then having an RIA practice where I have, AUM and billing on AUM, there's residual income. So yeah, there's outflow the first year as we gather assets, but then it's just perpetual. So it made perfect sense to me. And I just had to get over myself. And I just had to get out of my own way and be really super clear. And if you're super clear and the goal is that important, you're going to accomplish it. And you just need clarity. And I just put out there the type of person I want. And when she showed up, I mean, she was literally the first resume that showed up within an hour of posting the ad. And my first question to her was, why? Why did you apply? I mean, your salary was higher than what I posted and your experience is like way beyond. And she said, your passion. I could see your passion. I wanted a last hurrah. She wasn't ready to retire herself. And she wanted to work with someone who was going to just push through it and could build something wonderful and really make an impact in people's lives. And she wanted that ride. She wanted that adventure. And she saw that. And it's wonderful. I feel so grateful and blessed that, Kelly accepted the position and applied and all the rest. And it's been great. And she's pushed me. Well, you've met her. She pushes. And she does a great job of having a vision and pushing right through there. And she's brought in a lot of great operational things. We have weekly meetings now. We have structure. We brought on these two people. I wasn't even involved. I mean, she trained them. I mean, we had clarity of what I expected, and I told her what I expected, and I didn't want any slippage. And I had some pretty high standards this time because I wanted to do this right. And I wanted to succeed. I didn't want to have a failure here. And I was super clear on what I expected of her, and she delivered. And she did an amazing job. And when we were at the family reunion in Montana, I didn't even think about I didn't even get a call from either of these ladies. And we had 2 newer employees. Now, Kelly did a great job training them. We were both in Montana and no problems. It was fabulous. It was amazing.
Hiring the right people, having a process, what I'm hearing, having a process to maybe delegate, outsource, to bring the right people into the fold. So from start to finish, do you recall how long it took to find a Kelly when you utilized the consultant you mentioned?
Yeah. So basically, between getting really clear, it took me a couple of weeks to get super clear on my above and below the line activities. And then Stephanie has this fabulous activity, this homework she has you do about Post-it notes. And basically for a week or two, you just, everything that pops into your head, positive or negative, about who you want this person to be, you put on a Post-it note. Whether it's a hard skill, soft skill, something that annoys you, something that excites you, whatever it happens to be, put it all down on these Post-it notes. And I had a wad full of Post-it notes. And we then broke that into, on these poster boards, broke it down into, the hard skills, the soft skills, job descriptions, and the Post-it notes all got laid out. And then Stephanie had a process where we started then turning those Post-it note skill sets and that clarity into a super clear, customized job description. So in the past, I would just copy other people's job descriptions. I figured, other people are using it. No, I'm hiring for me. I need someone for me and for my firm. And so she helped provide that clarity and the job, the wording on the job description. This was her position at Uber when she was a marketing executive there. She did worldwide recruiting at Uber. And so she understood all the job boards, understood the keywords, understood how to get the job description placed on Indeed. And I think we used one other job board. And within the first hour is when I got Kelly's resume and a handful of others. And then in the old days, I would have, because I have faith in everybody and I have a belief that everybody can succeed if they put their mind to it. It's not my job to save everybody. My job is to hire the best person for my firm and for my clients. And so I changed my mindset. Stephanie helped me change my mindset of who to look for. So she gave me a bunch of interview questions. So instead of my feel good, everybody's a good person, everybody has potential outlook, I was super critical in these are the minimum requirements. If the minimum isn't met, it's not that I'm a bad person or they're a bad person. It's just not a right match at the present time.
Your standards.
And I don't have time to waste time.
Yeah.
And so she really worked on my mindset. And that's what was really helpful.
Yeah. And just having the right standards going into it. And actually it's been great because I think a couple of advisors came up to you at family reunion. You spoke at our actual business meeting and you said that exact quote. First thing out of your mouth for everybody is, I'm Michael and I am a fool.
Yep.
Going through your experience over the last 2 or so years, hiring new people, and Stephanie actually is helping, I think, some other advisors now.
Yeah. She's working with some. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're excited about the growth and now diving and unpacking a little bit more of your business relationship. Something that always stuck out to me is as Kelly came on board and others is, clients look at you as an actual business now. So where are you today? How is it received with your customers, with the additional staff? And what's the engagement like today where it's not all just on you?
Yeah. The clients love it. The other day, a client came in and they're just talking away. Kelly and the new staff, they're all taking care of everything. And I'm thinking, wait a second, no one's asking me to come out. No one's asking me. It's like, wait a second, I like, my name's on the door. And so I went out and it's like, how's it going, Pat? And it's like, oh, well, I'm just dealing with everything. It's like they're handling everything. It's like, oh, okay. It's like they didn't need me. And which freed me up to then start making calls and reaching out and building relationships with newer clients. So it's freed me up. It's built on my brand of really, because my brand is strong customer service. I mean, I'm proud of the concierge hand holding that we do. Even though I've used a ton of technology, I really make sure it has a human element to it, and it's a really warm human element with the technology. I don't use technology to, put distance with my clients. I use it to try to get closer to my clients. And so this has really allowed me to get even closer. A client event, normally, even though I've always had client events and dinners and always encourage clients to bring guests, same thing. It wasn't until Kelly started that clients started inviting guests. So my last event that I did in July, the largest event I've ever had, over 50 clients showed up. They brought 15 guests. All 15 have become clients.
Really?
Yeah. It's been wild. And so all of that, the only thing that has changed is me bringing staff on and changing my mindset. And that's all that I could peg it to. I think when you get clarity and you get clear and you just focus on it, you're really able to deliver a lot more by getting the right staff. And listening back at my last podcast, is like none of that would have ever come out of my mouth a handful of months ago. It's hard to believe where I was and where I am today in my belief system. And the thought of having like an office full of staff and payroll and all of that is just mind blowing when I think about it.
And so listening to the old episode and to the advisor, which there's a lot that listens to this show as well, that might find themselves in that same situation to where I know, Jeremy, I got to hire somebody. I really should look into hiring somebody. A year goes by, man, I really do need to hire somebody. It's hard to give away the keys to the kingdom. What would you say to that advisor?
I'd say if you really care about your clients and if you really care about your quality of life, you'd bring on the right staff. Because if you do care about your clients need more of you. They don't need you filling out forms. They don't need you dealing with paperwork issues. They don't need you dealing with, did the trash get picked up? Or they don't need you to deal with the internet provider. They need you to deal with their retirement or their finances or their dreams and aspirations. That's what they hire you for. And if you're going to give the best possible service to your clients, you need to have yourself freed of all of this lower value stuff. And somebody who is incredibly talented to do all of that stuff, that's all essential. You have to deliver all of those services, but they don't have to be delivered by you. Someone else could do it. And if you haven't had success, just like you don't, fill your own, cavity and you don't operate on yourself, and most people probably don't cut their own hair, you want to bring in an expert. And I'd strongly recommend Stephanie or consultants like her who can, help the advisor re-examine their perspective. Because it's hard. I'm pretty independent, hard-headed thinker. But when I realized I needed some attitude adjustment, it was important. And it was important to get that from people who know what they're talking about and are successful with it. And it's so, oh my God, just paying a small consulting fee was nothing compared to what I lost in time, effort, energy to hiring the wrong person and training the wrong people and then letting them go after a month or two. And the damage they could do to your business in that month or two is terrible. So it's really important to do it right and do it. So I would encourage, from where I was and where I am today, even someone who's solo could do better by bringing on somebody, whether it's full-time, part-time. you're going to do a better job for your clients. You're going to do a better job for yourself. You're going to do a better job for your partner, your spouse, your family. You're going to feel happier. I mean, that's what I would say. I mean, I'm a much happier camper than I was previously.
Mm-hmm. Very wise words. It's like the reflection of the evolution, like I said, of Michael over the last couple of years, which has been awesome. Because I mean, originally how our relationship started, you just weren't really doing insurance. You thought you were hungry for some growth opportunities. I don't even think, do you even remember the first time we actually started working together?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was after the Social Security thing that you guys did. There was this full half-day Social Security thing you did in July or August of that year, or June or July of that year. And I thought, wow, this company has like an obscene amount of tools they're providing their advisors. And they're not just talking about, cheesy insurance illustrations. They're not talking about how to, gimmick the client or the prospect into seeing an illustration. They're actually talking about real quality things. And as a fiduciary, as an RIA, I mean, that was important to me. And the ethics and business value that InsureMark and that you provide is really valuable. And when I saw that, I thought, yeah, I mean, I had done fixed index business like 15 years prior to that, when early on, and I was just not happy with it. And I really wasn't sure about getting back into it. And really, it wasn't until you started showing how the newer products were more credible, and more importantly, how you guys do business, and how you present illustrations for me in a reasonable way, in a professional and fiduciary manner, made a lot of sense to me. So anyone that is looking at adding insurance, and I think any CFP, I mean, I always get frustrated whenever I hear CFPs who have their kind of stick up their hindside about insurance products, annuities, life insurance products, are really doing a disservice to their clients. I mean, we have a fiduciary duty to our clients, and insurance plays an important role. I mean, these CFPs wouldn't tell their clients don't get auto insurance, don't get health insurance, don't get homeowners insurance. That'd be malpractice. I mean, why wouldn't you want to insure your longevity? We're all living longer. Why wouldn't you want to protect a client's assets from the risks of long-term care? I mean, ask anybody whose parents or grandparents or aunts, uncles are going through this, and the impact on the families and the costs. It's irresponsible not to look at insurance vehicles, because unless you're going to be totally self-insured or totally irresponsible and just go on the government dole, you got to protect yourself. And so I think personally it's irresponsible for CFPs and RIAs to ignore the insurance component of financial planning. Now, the flip side is that there's a lot of bad apples out there, and that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about real, legitimate financial tools that are a credible solution for real financial risks. And so I think anyone that's serious about providing their clients the best possible service really should be looking at insurance. And if you're going to look at insurance, you need to be looking at someone and a firm that has great ethics, great credibility, and more importantly, really the proof is in the pudding with you guys. I mean, you guys invested a fortune bringing that business coach on for us all. I mean, she's one of the top business coaches in the financial planning industry. And you guys, I mean, it was a pretty penny. It was an amazing service. I mean, all the tools that you guys offer, from the software to the support to the business planning. I mean, what you guys do in terms of my goal setting with this waterfall report to monitor my business, to see the growth, supporting the operations is really critical. So, I mean, I'm a firm believer in what you guys do, and more importantly, the credibility and the ethics. So I appreciate our partnership.
Very humbling. I mean, obviously, you're definitely an amazing guy. Someone, as the years have gone on, we've gotten to know you, Phyllis, and the rest of the team more and more, which has been incredible. I mean, the sky's the limit for you. And actually, what's the end game for Michael? So have you thought about that? I mean, literally, you even said at family reunion out in Montana that I think you were looking to retire. I think you were actually at Founders Club in 2023 on stage saying that, or sitting there thinking to yourself that you were going to be retiring within the next couple of years, and now here you are adding staff. So what's the end goal for Michael?
Yeah, I kind of changed that goal a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm too young to retire. I'm having too much fun. The grandkids are too young for me to be able to take them traveling. So I figure I've got 5 to 10 years. But there's just great professionals. I mean, some of the people that we've been able to work with in your group, other advisors, really just kind of talking about associating. We're talking about figuring out ways of maybe adding value to our firms through an association. With the way private equity is out there buying RIA firms, that opportunity exists. But right now, I see this thing going, myself going for another 5 to 7, having fun. I can definitely see bringing on a junior advisor or two. Danielle, one of the new people I brought on, she's balancing it back and forth, whether she wants to take over for Kelly once she retires or whether she loves the idea of becoming an advisor. So I'm going to be exposing. I mean, I never thought I would have staff where I have to offer a career path. I mean, this has been fun. And that's one of the things Stephanie helped me with was, start talking about career paths with staff, and particularly younger people. They want that career path. They want to know what's going on. So I've also had to change my thinking about, the different work ethics of people and staff and perspectives. So it's been an interesting ride, now becoming more of a business owner and an operator, not just a producer, and some of those different skills and mindsets. But yeah, I think 5 to 7 years, I'm definitely going to keep pumping away. So I'll help you with your goals for the next 5 to 7 years.
Jeff Maxey approves that message. Yeah. Yeah. Well, obviously, and you hit something too. I mean, that's something I see. It's almost like it's like a blind spot out there where I see, I'm in my 30s and last 13 years watching advisors from their 40s to 50s now up to their 60s and 70s. And just that younger generation, the younger generation is so hungry to just lean on somebody for just mentorship or just having some guidance. So that's why it's pretty exciting to watch you, other advisors as well, continue to bring new faces into the industry. Cause it's a thriving industry itself.
It's an amazing industry. I was excited at the advanced sales training that you guys did in Houston, seeing, because normally when you go to the top events, with all due respect to old white men, they seem to be a little old and a little white. But that group was really diverse. And there was young and women and minorities, and it was fabulous. It was exciting to see. And I got excited to know that there's a lot of really great young people out there that are excited about this industry that, I'm hoping as I get my mindset right to be able to bring on, mentor the right junior advisors as well. So I'm excited about that next phase. I know in talking to some of the top advisors in your group, as they're expanding their practices, I'm always now asking more questions, not just about operations, but, about their other advisors they bring on and the mindset and the challenges. So it's been fun. It's been an interesting ride. So I'm excited about the next few years.
Me as well. And now they're asking you 2 questions, Michael. It's not just you asking questions.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's a good problem to have. So as we're closing out here, any final words of wisdom or message to the audience as we wrap up?
Well, now that I've had this kind of eye-opening experience to kind of grow and mature, I would say if you're a solo advisor, think about getting over yourself a little bit. And if you really care about your clients and you care about your family and you care about your own quality of life, it's worth considering bringing on some staff. So that way you can really focus on your highest and best value to your clients and your family. And it's worth it. So that's what I would say. That's been my lesson that I learned from our last conversation to now. And I would end with that and share that.
Good words of wisdom. Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael, for joining us for your second time. Looking forward to
Thanks.
The next couple of months and years, looking back on this episode, seeing where the growth continues on. Also, thank you to the listener for tuning in to this week's episode. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite listening device so you do not miss out on any future Advisor Mentorship Podcast episodes. Follow us on LinkedIn at Jeremy Hauser, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Jeremy Hauser Imp. And as you share this episode with a colleague or a friend, just remember, in a world full of betas, be an alpha.